Hello, my name is Irina and I'm a community librarian in Medway Libraries. I am participating in the Medway Readathon as part of the National Libraries Week to celebrate reading for pleasure. I am now going to read a small extract from my forthcoming book on Medway history. Foreigners, Aliens, Citizens. Chatham, the wickedest place in the world, according to Hobbes' reminiscences, did not lack public houses frequented by soldiers and sailors. The very names of a sailor or a soldier were identified with drunkenness. Men had nowhere to go but to the canteen or a public house. The street rows and midnight brawls were of frequent occurrence. The need for healthy recreation was very evident. The Mechanics' Institute in Chatham, established in the early 1850s, aimed to furnish the aspiring tradesmen with the possibility of a social advancement through its lectures. The foundation and the initial maintenance of the institute were secured by Joseph Pike, a young man in his 20s and a member of the Chatham Jewish community. As he recalled later, it all started from one morning visit of some respectable men to his house on Chatham Hill. The men requested Pike's help in obtaining books for the philosophical institution which they were circulating between themselves. Free libraries and public education didn't exist yet, and to help with the running of the institution, as it was in financial trouble. Instead, Pike suggested that the men paid off the debt they owed to the landowner and establish Mechanics' Institution, as was the national up-and-coming trend. The same morning, Pike obtained the money to pay off the debt, which was in the region of £90. He then purchased a lease for the old disused marketplace and the building not far from the dockyard from Messrs. Vennell and Whitehead. The gentlemen were strict Calvinists, and Pike had to convince them that the wide scope of lectures that were envisaged for the institution was more beneficial for the working men than a dull series of prayer meetings. He then secured a meeting with Charles Dickens at Gad's Hill, intending to ask the author to become the president of the institution. According to Pike's recollections, he was seated in the morning room. After the animated conversation about what can be done for the workers, in which he was most interested, I proposed to him he should become president of the Rochester and Chatham Mechanics' Institution. And after much persuasion, he said, "Well, Mr. Pike, I become president on one understanding, and that is that you vice president and do all the work." To this I willingly acceded. Then, with characteristic courage, I asked him if he could do anything for the opening day, and he said, "No, I don't think I can." I said, "Cannot you give us a reading from one of your famous books?" And to the best of my recollection, he said, "I do not think I am capable of doing what you ask." After much pressing and my telling him he could be sure to have a sympathetic audience, he said, "Very well, I will try." This he did gratuitously, which brought in a very large sum of money on the opening night. Being Christmas time, he read his Christmas carol. It was a huge success. Scarcely a dry eye in the house when he pictured Tiny Tim on his father's shoulder. It was Charles Dickens's first public reading.